Good morning, everybody, and a very warm welcome to our 2024 budget event here at Trinity Park. As Managing Partner of Scrutton Bland, I'm delighted to see such a fantastic turnout. We have about 250 people in the room today. We're also live streaming this event to a further 250 people or so. That's a great number attending our budget breakfast this year. Welcome to all, and I hope you enjoyed the event, which will provide a useful and insightful look at yesterday's budget. Before we delve into the heart of yesterday's announcement, I'd like to take a moment to point out that today is World Book Day. As we gather here on 7th of March, we acknowledge the significance of this global celebration of books and reading. World Book Day encourages us all, regardless of age, to embrace the joy of reading and to appreciate the authors and illustrators who enrich our lives with their creations. For those in the room today, I hope you've had the opportunity to check out the quotes from the famous books on your tables, the authors behind them, and the stories that they represent. Many schools throughout the UK celebrate World Book Day by dressing in fancy dress, attending as a character from a famous book. Sadly, no one in the room seems to have embraced the occasion quite as well to that extreme, unless, of course, they've done so very subtly. I'm still watching out for a Harry Potter, a Miss Marple, or even a Gruffalo. I'll keep looking throughout the presentation. But back to why we're here today. Well, we read in the newspapers and articles that the country is ready for a change of government, something which seems to be reinforced by several recent by-election results. Will this be the last Tory budget in their current reign? It seems that 2024 is a year for worldwide change, with many countries around the world having general elections, including not only the UK, but the United States. We've heard a lot about that already, haven't we? Russia, Ukraine, and India. In fact, 49% of the world's population should be heading to the polling booths this year. Let's cast our minds back to May 2010, when the Tories won the general election, bringing an end of 13 years of Labour rule, ended under Gordon Brown's tenure. Since then, we've had 5 prime ministers. The most notable could be said to be Liz Truss, who holds a record for the shortest stint as Prime Minister of just 49 days. In tandem with these changes in leadership, the Treasury has seen its fair share of turnover too, with 7 Chancellors taking up the mantle. Among them, Kwasi Kwarteng's brief tenure of 38 days stands out, making the second shortest term for a Chancellor, surpassed only by Ian MacLeod, who tragically passed away just 30 days into his term during Ted Heath's reign. In tax terms, let's not forget that when the Tories came to power, the main rate of corporation tax was 28%. Through a series of deliberate reforms, the Tories have succeeded in driving it down to the lowest ever rate of 19% and held it there for 6 years, fostering an environment conducive to business growth and investment. However, the pressures of the COVID-19 pandemic necessitated a reassessment of fiscal priorities, compelling the government to reevaluate its tax policies in light of the unprecedented challenges facing the economy. The support measures implemented to cushion the impact of the pandemic clearly strained public finances, prompting a need to increase the corporate tax rate to its current 25% and reevaluate other revenue streams. Reflecting on the autumn statement, we witnessed significant tax measures, including the permanent extension of full expensing for capital allowances and the reductions in national insurance for workers. These initiatives, financed by unexpected fiscal headroom and unspecified public spending cuts, underscored the Conservative Party's commitment to maintaining a stance of low taxation. But whilst the Conservatives aim to uphold their reputation as the party of low tax, recent opinion polls indicate a shift in public sentiment, with the majority of voters prioritising public spending over tax cuts. So have the Tories got it wrong? So today's gathering is to explore the announcements in yesterday's spring budget. There's no denying the importance of this event, particularly given the recent announcement by the Office of National Statistics indicating that the UK is in a recession. As we look ahead, This budget marks a pivotal moment, expected to be the final fiscal event before the forthcoming general election, anticipated to take place in the autumn. Chancellor Jeremy Hunt holds the reins, tasked with setting tax policies that will not only navigate the country through these challenging times, but also shape the Conservative Party's trajectory towards the impending election. But was this the budget that Jeremy Hunt will have wanted to unveil? Probably not. If all had gone to plan, he would have unveiled a raft of vote-friendly giveaways and tax cuts thanks to a growing economy, falling interest rates, and improved public finances. But instead, the economy is in a recession. It's fair to say that the fiscal headroom that the Chancellor was expecting has not materialised. Over the weekend, Jeremy Hunt announced that the budget would be prudent and responsible, and warned that it would be a long path to bring the tax burden down. Commenting on the prospects of tax cuts, he said, "We're only going to do this in a responsible way and in a way that supports economic growth." So with much political and economic uncertainty, we thought there'd be plenty to speak about today. We thought there'd be more announcements than in previous years, especially given the general election which must take place before January 2025. So were we right or were we wrong? As ever, in advance of yesterday, there was plenty of speculation, but nothing too specific, I think it's fair to say, certainly less detail that had been leaked in the press on such occasions over the last few years. However, suddenly the mist cleared early yesterday in advance of the Chancellor's lunchtime speech, and many of the key changes hit our news apps and the tabloids. So what did yesterday's budget bring? Well, let's take a look. I'm pleased to announce our speakers this morning. Chapter 1 is presented by Luke Morris, our corporate finance partner, who will give his economic outlook. Chapter 2 by Simon Hurren, associate tax partner, new to our presenting lineup this year on personal tax matters. Chris George, tax partner on international tax changes. Sam Stent, Chapter 4, associate tax partner for property tax update. And then it's back to me for Chapter 5, providing insights into business tax changes. So without further ado, I'd like to invite Luke Morris to kick off today's proceedings with his economic update.